Hello, Chad here with Scaled Down Customs to hopefully complete the build of Tamiya's new Porsche 911 GT3 RS. We're getting closer. On the last video we completed up the interior and got that mated to the chassis plate. So now we're going to move our attention back to the body to get the final accent pieces installed, decals installed, clear coat, and then we will be ready for final assembly on this thing. So to do that, we are going to move ahead with the next couple of pages in the instruction booklet, which is getting some of these black trim pieces, cut off the sprues, cleaned up primer and paint. Even though they're already black, the plastic just has a sheen on it that always looks like plastic. So I'm going to go ahead and repaint these in black, and then we'll be ready to start putting some of this stuff back on the car. Got all the decals applied, and I think we are ready to spray some clear. So the clear I'm going to be using is a 2K clear coat from Spray Gunner. This is just their no-name brand 2K clear. So I'll be applying 3 coats of this, and then we'll be ready to start putting some stuff together. All right, got the clear coat on and dried up, but as always, I get little dust spots in my clear. So we are gonna have to take that out. So to do that, I'm just gonna be using some small wet dry sandpapers. I have a 2500. 1500 might be too aggressive. I'll probably do a 2500, maybe a 2000, but mostly I'm going to be using a 3000 grit sanding paper. So we'll cut that down with the sandpaper and then polish it back out with just some polishing compounds and my new Dispay sanding wand that I got a small collet for. What is this, like a 1/2 inch polishing head, and this has actually been working pretty well, so we're going to use this to polish everything back out again. I just like to use 1 drop of dish soap in when I start sanding down the body, just to give me a little bit more lubricity, so my sanding isn't quite as harsh. Just 1 little drop of soap, and we're going to start some sanding. Oh, another thing I've been using lately is this Trizact paper, and this actually takes things down to a pretty smooth finish prior to polishing. So after the 3000 sandpaper, I'm going to be using this 5000 grit Trizact paper, and I've been getting some pretty good results with this, so I'll be using this as well. All right, I got everything cut down, and now we're ready to polish it back out again with my Dispay sanding wand. And this thing does spin a lot faster than my power drill, but it's a lot lighter. So one of the things I've been using is just a basic manila folder, and I'll just kind of place it on my workstation, because a lot of times this will throw product around. So this is just kind of a shield to kind of block my workstation from getting splattered with a lot of polish that I don't need it to. So, all right, let's do some polishing. right, and already that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to get the rest of this car polished down, and then we'll be ready for some assembly. Well, actually we got to paint the window trim, and then we'll be ready for some assembly. So more polishing. All right, got the body all polished out, looking nice and shiny. Ready for final assembly for that. So now we need to mask and paint the glass, the windows. So again, Tamiya kits, amazing stuff. Another thing that Tamiya does that I really love is on some of their kits they include masking stickers for the glass. So we're going to apply these and go get the glass painted up. All right, there we go. That's her finished. I still got to put the license plate on, but I'm going to do that. But that is it. Tamiya's Porsche 911 GT3 RS. I've got a little tiny touch up to do and just get her cleaned up for the glamour shots, but what an amazing kit. And that'll do it for this build series. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.